Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know in the news, if you look at the news today, we are all talking about ceasefires. I've enjoyed the last ceasefire for about the last 3 or 4 months, that we haven't had a motion on the floor to repeal the Affordable Care Act, because we've actually been working on issues in the committee that may have an impact. But again, bringing this bill up, it reminds me of the same arguments that I think some of us may have heard in the 1960s after Medicare was passed, although Medicare passed with Republican votes, unlike the Affordable Care Act. But I remember seeing things in the 60s talking about how it was so terrible, socialized medicine. And yet, I bet you there would not be one person today in Congress who would get up on the floor and say, let's abolish Medicare and let's let people have their liberty not to have insurance over 65 or let them die, because that's what we're talking about. That's the liberty and death we're talking about. The discussion today, it's just so incorrect, and I want to ask unanimous consent to place into the record 2 items about how misleading some of this information is on the Affordable Care Act. First, it's an article from National Journal titled, "Obamacare Premiums Aren't Living Up to the Doomsayers' Predictions." It shows how premiums are growing at a slower rate than they have in the past. In fact, premiums are actually falling in many states around the country. The second document is issue brief from the Department of Health and Human Services showing the actual premium people in marketplace plans pay only $82 a month. And financial assistance available for the vast majority of the consumers, and that is saving people real money. If I could ask unanimous consent to place that in the record, Mr. Chairman.
Without objection.
Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you. I still have, it'd be nice just to legislate. And I think that's what the Energy and Commerce Committee has been. Our history is to legislate. And so instead of having the 54th or 56th or 57th time that we'll have something on the floor to repeal the Affordable Care Act, let's see if we can fix the law. There has never been a law passed by any Congress that's perfect. And if you want to fix it, if you have complaints about the problems, let's sit down and work it out. But just repealing it is not going to happen, and it'd be nice not to, not to have this battle again, because we've already had it. I think 53. I know some Republicans say 56 times. And I like to yield the remainder of my time to my colleague from New Jersey, our ranking member on health care.